This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The DRC Learning Net will start in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
All right, hello and welcome. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. That's spelled Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November. I am the net control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net tonight. This is a directed net for the purpose of connecting amateurs seeking help or advice with Elmers willing to mentor. This net meets every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. Mountain on W0TX repeaters 145.490 and 448.625. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? For recognition by net control, please use your call sign. Everyone is welcome. This is an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor. If you have any questions for the Learning Net and don't yet have your license or otherwise wish to contact the net, you may do so via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We're also on groups.io under the name of Ham Learning Net. And we're also on YouTube. You can search for W0TX, or if you go to youtube.com/WEREGR8, you can find a live stream of this net as well as past nets. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0, Juliet Kilo. AA 0JK, good evening.
All right, Net Control wishes to thank and acknowledge the following Elmer, AA0JK. Fred, thank you so much for checking in this evening. One more call. Anyone else who'd like to check in as an Elmer, subject matter expert about any topic you'd like, please do so right now with your call sign and your name. Please call now. Okay, general check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That'll be the letter after the number in your call sign. The first letter after the number in your call sign. Please try to use I2 phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have traffic or questions for Elmers as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
W.
Kilo 0 Lima, Papa Romeo, Lanier and Inglewood, and I have a question.
Kilo 0, Bravo Alpha Tango, Art and Aurora.
Kilo 0, Echo Hotel Romeo, Mark in Littleton.
Troy in Denver.
Alpha Fox 0, Echo, Alex Bromfield.
Kilo 6, Hotel Juliet Victor. That's the handsome jolly vampire of Arvada. No traffic.
D0 CIB, Charles, Denver.
Kilo 0, Lima Alpha India, K0 LEI, Larry Lakewood.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Go and hold up there for just a moment. All right, we had a couple of doubles in there, but what I had gotten was K0LPR Linear. I think there was a double at the same time. And K0BAT Art, K0EHR Mark. I think there was another double after that, but I heard KF0AFQ Troy. And then I also have KF0AEY Patrick, AF0E Alex, K6HJV Tom, WD0CIV Charles, and K0LAI Larry. If you had tried calling in during that time and I didn't call your call sign, go ahead and try once more.
K0LPR, I'm not sure you heard me. I do have a question.
All right, K0LPR Linear with a question traffic. Sorry about that. I did get that the first time, just forgot to read it out. Sorry. Go ahead and try once more. If I hadn't call your call sign, go ahead and try once more. Apologize about that.
November 0, Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim in Littleton.
All right, and then we had N0EYZ Jim. All right, I'll go ahead and just open it up to the to that first block, first half there, Alpha through Mike one more time. If your call sign suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, and you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please do so now with your call sign and your name, and let us know if you have traffic or questions. Please call now. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up the whole alphabet. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, and you'd like to check in, please do so now.
Delta 0, Romeo, Quebec, November, KD 0, RQN, David, Westminster, no traffic.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield, no traffic.
Kilo 0, Kilo Papa Sierra, Kevin Lakewood, no traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim, Lakewood, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Tango Oscar Bravo. Denny, Lafayette, I have no traffic for that.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had KD0RQN David, K0YES Ken, K0KPS Kevin, N0TRP Jim, and then I thought I had her double in there or something, but I thought it was Denny, Kilo Echo 0 Tango Oscar Bravo KE0TOB. If you need any corrections on that, go ahead. Okay, and if you had tried checking in and I didn't call your call sign, go ahead and try once more, please. Okay, we'll go ahead and take one more call, the whole alphabet. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please do so with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have traffic or questions for the net. Please call now.
Kilo Echo 0 Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
Whiskey Bravo 2, Kilo Quebec Golf, Vinny, Denver.
AA0JK, I forgot to note that I do have traffic, Jerome.
All right, sounds good. This is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had KE0 S.t.e.m Jonathan and Whiskey Bravo 2 Kilo Quebec Golf Vinny. Thank you both for checking in. One more time just at the moment. There'll be a few more opportunities throughout the net, but if you'd like to check in at the moment, please do so now.
W0TX Repeater.
Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. With that, we'll go ahead and throw it over to Fred, AA0JK with traffic. Go ahead, and that is yours.
AA0JK, good evening, everyone. Just want to make note that those of you who haven't already seen the note on the ARRL webpage or in our club newsletter, the ARRL has come out and again emphasized the importance of the members joining in and strongly opposing the FCC's application fee proposal. I guess they're really pushing hard on this, trying to get us to have to pay $50 every time we have a contact with the FCC. So please go to the ARRL website, and right up there at the very top of the latest news column, you'll see ARRL urges members to oppose the proposal. Click on that, and they will direct you as to how to leave a message or a note there to the FCC concerning your feelings there towards that proposal. Also, right there next to it, we might be also following in what's just transpired with New Zealand. They have lost part of their spectrum, so we can better start speaking up, or else we'll be right in line with them losing their 60-meter spectrum privileges, and this might only be a start. So we want to speak up and defend our our ability here to operate here as hams. And that's it for now. Back to you, drone. AA0JK.
All right, sounds good there, Fred. AA0JK. Yeah, comments. You can make a comment opposing the FCC application fee proposal. And over on our website, W0TX, we have just on pretty much on the top there, links as well to all those as well. So, yeah, if you want to keep the hobby open and want to keep it the way things are, make a comment or make a comment for or against. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much on that, Fred. And in regards to the second thing you had mentioned, yeah, New Zealand had lost the 60-meter band, and then we had also recently lost in the American airspace like some gigahertz band. I forget what band it was, but if you don't use it, we will lose it. So definitely use the bands that we have access to. Otherwise, we may not see that spectrum anymore. All right, next up we had K0LPR. Linear, thanks for hanging out there. Go ahead, and that is yours.
K0LPR. I have a problem with my Yaesu FT60. The frequency is stuck on 444.550, memory number 75. When I turn the dial, it won't change frequencies. The word save is flashing in the window, and I was wondering if there's some button that I need to press to resolve this problem. Back to net, K0LPR.
All right, K0LPR, this is K1DBC. Great question there. Yeah, you have a little bit of a noise in the background. I'm guessing that may or may not be caused by that, but it's stuck on 444.550, memory number 75. When you turn the dial, it won't change frequencies, and you see the word save is flashing on the window. FT60, I don't have too much experience with that myself. But it may be trying to like save something or write something. But while I try to look that up, if anybody has any further comments on that or any thoughts of what that might be, go ahead.
KD0RQN.
Yeah, KD0RQN. David, go ahead.
I had a problem with my Yaesu FT60R/E, and I called Yaesu, and they fixed it over the phone in about 2 minutes. KD0RQN.
Well, I have a business card on my wall with their phone number on it. I don't know why I didn't think of that, because I've gotten a lot of help from them in the past.
S.t.e.m comment.
Thanks there, RQN. Yeah, sometimes we forget we can reach out to the manufacturers. A lot of days nowadays, we don't really think to do that because most of our electronics, we wouldn't do that nowadays. But good thought there, though, RQN. S.t.e.m, K0, S.t.e.m, Jonathan, go ahead.
Yeah, Lanier's frequencies won't change for her. Yeah, she's got it put on lock. You hit the bottom right button in 6, and that'll turn it off. Let me grab my FT60, but I'm pretty sure that's right. K0 S.t.e.m, back to net.
Okay, tell me again what button to push.
This is K1DBC. I think I have to go back and hear what he said, but it sounds like press and hold the number 6 key for 1 second, and it should unlock it.
S.t.e.m. Yeah, it's the bottom right function key, and then touch that, and then go up to the number 6 key, and that'll turn off the lock. That troubled me for a long time when I got this radio, so it's a good question.
pushing the last button on the bottom row, and then I'm supposed to press lock, number 6.
Yeah, just go down to the last button on the bottom right, it's the F button, and then go back up to the number 6 key. Above that, you'll see in orange letters, lock. And that'll unlock the radio, and then you can scan again.
Well, I'm sorry that's not working for me.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control stepping in here. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, it definitely sounds like it might be locked and it might be trying to do. It sounds like it's an odd mode. I'd imagine you probably turn it off and on, or taken the battery out and plugged it back in at this point. If not, hopefully that might be something we can try too. But maybe factory resetting, unfortunately, too, might be another option as well.
Oh, excuse me. I got it working. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's working. K0LPR.
W0TX repeater.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan, and K0S.U.M. and LPR. It sounds like things are working again. It sounds good. Any other follow-up on that, LPR, Jonathan, S.U.M., or anyone else? Go ahead.
I'm happy to hear that for Lanier, and don't have any more comments. But I do have traffic when you get around to my call. That'd be fine. K0S.U.M.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, glad we could get that worked out for you there, LPR, and hopefully things start moving along there for you. And yeah, I got you marked down with traffic, Jonathan. No, I'll come back to you here in just a moment. Okay, it is about 5 minutes to 8 p.m. At this time. I'll go ahead and I see some questions here on the YouTube channel, and I'll get back to those here in just a moment. But I'll throw it out. Is anyone else like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning? And if you've just tuned in, my name is Daron. Call sign is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. Net control for the Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help, and Elmers giving their time to help us. Everyone is welcome to join in. If you wish to check in at this time, please do so with your call sign using I2 phonetics, your name, and state if you have traffic or questions for the net.
Kilo Delta 5, Lima Papa Echo. Mike in Denver with a question.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I had KD5 LPE Mike with a question. Thank you for checking in. There may have been someone else trying to check in, but I really only heard static and noise. I really didn't hear too much of a voice or anything. If you want to try again, or if anyone else wants to try to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, please do so now. Okay, this is Daron K1DBC Net Control. We had a question from Patrick KF0AEY in the chat here asking about where in the Denver area can they rent an antenna analyzer or other testing equipment. Great question there, Patrick. I don't know. I know that we could probably just reach out to the club. I know that a lot of people have these the Nano VNA. I know I have one, and certainly am more than happy to lend it out. I am in the Inglewood area, so if you ever need, I can at least hand out my Nano VNA, and you're more than happy to do some analyzing with it and kind of keep it for as long as you need to do that. As far as maybe more industrial, there might be, like, there's probably a lot of club members there, maybe electronics engineers, so there might be some more professional options out there, but I don't really know, outside of really a ham radio club where you'd really be able to borrow rent an antenna analyzer. But I'll throw it out to the net. Anyone have any other further follow-up on that? I have some other things on that, but anyone else have anything? Go ahead. All right, yeah, I think maybe like a hackerspace or a makerspace might actually have some more professional equipment. They probably have like some sort of spectrum analyzer, some sort of a lot more equipment at least. I know. Let me see if I can bring up the equipment that the Denver Hack group has here. Yeah, some of the maker spaces around the Denver area would definitely have a lot of oscilloscopes and a lot more professional grade equipment. But if you're looking to just do some kind of basic testing, I myself am more than happy to lend out my Nano VNA, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of people in the club who have purchased one, and maybe it's collecting dust, and they'd be more than happy to do that too. So maybe we can bring something up to the club. We can email the membership address. If you email membership at W0TX.org, it will go to the person who monitors that, and then you can try to ask and see if they will send an email. But that's one thing we can look at too. But great question there, Patrick. Anyone else on that topic? Please call now. Okay, yeah, great question. And yeah, there's always a lot of us, some of us are hobbyists, some of us are professional, so you never know how much equipment is out there to use, so it never hurts to ask and see what you can do, especially if you can kind of just pick it up and return it. No shipping required, so great question there, yeah. With that, we'll throw it over to Jonathan, KE0 s.t.e.m. The net is yours with traffic. Go ahead.
Evening, Jerome. Actually, I have two questions. One's really technical because I'm watching you on YouTube and I'm going to start running a net on Friday. But the easy question is, when you start the net, you say, I'm going to wait and turn the repeater into net mode. That I don't know. What is net mode? Are you turning off the PL tone? It's the only thing I can think of. KE0 s.t.e.m.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. We had a similar question to this not too long ago. That's exactly what's happening. It's removing the required PL tone. So it's just transmitting DTMF tones that I've removed from the net script here. But we're more than happy to hand those out to anybody who's willing to run the net. But you enter in those DTMF tones, and then it removes the required 100 hertz PL tone. That's exactly what happens.
Please explain a little bit more. How are you turning off this PL tune on the repeater?
Not a problem, absolutely. This is K1DBC Net Control. Just very similar to many radios, you'd have on the face of on the radio, you'll have your 1 through 9 and 0 and pound and star. And basically, you're just transmitting, just holding transmit, and at the same time also inputting those required tones. So whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pound or something like that, you would just basically hold the push to talk down, transmit those tones, and then you'll hear the beeps afterwards. Or similar to this one. Great question, though. Yeah, and if you have a follow-up question on that second one, go ahead.
Peter.
Well, the follow-up question was watching the YouTube transmission. In the upper right, you type in, of course, call signs and get the names. What program are you using for that?
I am using a fairly simple text. Well, not simple. It's a pretty complicated text editor, but it's called Notepad++, and it's just a pretty powerful tool. You can have tabs and you can compare. I mean, there's a lot of functionality. I've used this for a decade in my job, but it works really well to just kind of keep check-ins, and then after I put in a call sign, for example, it will kind of autofill, or it can kind of try to autofill things. So it's just a really simple text editor, but it's just what's worked for me to do that. So yeah, that is Notepad++. If you go to notepad-plus-plus.org, it looks like you can download it as a free piece of software there.
Thanks for the information. You type a lot faster than I do. KU0 issue and back to net.
All right, not a problem. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, streaming on YouTube, it's a pretty interesting thing. I'm using this program called OBS, and it's a pretty interesting way to be able to capture all of the different programs that I use, and it kind of makes things a lot more streamlined. So that's another piece of software too. If you search for OBS Studio or obsproject.com, that's what I'm using to actually stream, and that makes it quite a bit easier as well. All right, anyone else on anything we've spoken about so far? There's a few more traffic and questions here, but anyone else on anything we've brought up so far this evening, please call now. Okay, looks like Troy in the chat here on YouTube had put in KF0AFQ, don't hear us on Echo Link. So right now I'm only transmitting on 145.490 and 448.625. I'm not sure if those actually get hooked up into Echo Link, and I haven't taken any actions to transmit onto there myself at the moment. So that's maybe why you're not hearing it, because I don't think I have any audio path to that at the moment. But I could be wrong. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and throw it over to KD5 LPE Mike with a question. The net is yours, so go ahead, Mike.
Oh, thanks, Jerome. Couple questions for you. First of all, I've noticed when you transmit, there's one courtesy tone that comes back, but then when other people transmit, there's two courtesy tones. I wonder why that is. Is it because the PL tones are off? And second question is, does the club have an HF station that is either remotely set up or whatever? I'm trying to establish some sort of backup plan in case I can't get HF working in my apartment. Still trying to figure out what antenna I'm going to put up. And I don't know how much noise I'm going to get or whatever. So just wondering if the club has an HF station either remotely or something I can physically operate at. And then back to you, KD5LT.
right, this is Net Control K1DBC. Great question there, KD5LPE. I don't know on that first thing, those courtesy tones. I haven't transmitting. I really don't hear too much on those courtesy tones. It's hard for me to pick up on those, but I may need to just pay attention to it a little bit more and understand that. But I'm transmitting on here just like everyone else. I mean, the title of Net Control really doesn't. The equipment doesn't understand who I am or anything. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. But as far as the club station, HF club station, I don't think that the W0TX club has an available HF station. I know there's plenty of software-defined websites, SDR websites online, where you can basically go and use other people's, websdr.org, for example. You can go and listen and or transmit on other people's HF stations as well. You would need the internet, but that is another option as well. But I don't think W0TX Denver Radio Club has a club station. But I'll have to check into the courtesy tones. But if you have any other follow-up on that, go ahead.
Yeah, not too much. Well, maybe I can, when I get a new HF radio, donate mine to the club. I'm leaning towards getting the screwdriver antenna. Seems to be the most recommended. I wish I could try out antennas before I plunk down a bunch of money on one, but don't know of any way of being able to do that. So, anyways, thanks a lot for that, and we'll turn it back over to you, KD5LPE.
Comment, KPS.
Okay, yeah, sounds good there. Yeah, a little bit follow up on that, but KD0 or KPS, K0 KPS. Kevin, go ahead on that.
Yeah, as far as the remote station, the Denver Radio Club Board of Directors has been in discussion with one of our served agencies for placing radio at their location. However, due to the pandemic situation and other issues on our served agency side, communications have kind of stopped for the time being. But there is some exploration, for establishing a remote station. And the club already has the equipment to install it, but they're still in discussions about how to go forward. So there's where we're at. So back to Net K0 KPS.
LEI comment.
Thank you, KPS there. Yeah, I remember one of our served agencies was going to do that, and yeah, it has been pushed back. But K0 LAI, Larry, go ahead.
This is K0 LAI. The club does have an HF station, but it's for packet. It's reserved for packet only, where you can do VHF packet into it, and then it goes out as HF packet out on the ether. So that's the only kind of thing we have, and it goes out on 14.105, which is the 105 net on 20 meters. It only works during the day for the most part. Let me reset. I have a comment about antennas. Regarding screwdriver antennas, if you get one, you may need to put some radials down on the ground under it to make it work properly, because most screwdriver antennas were really designed for mobile use. So you have to get a radial kit if it comes with one. If not, you'll have to build something. And as far as HF vertical that doesn't need radials, because it comes with, is the Maldol HVU-8, which is made by Comet, and it's about $330, and MFJ makes one similar for a little bit less. And that works very well. You can put it on a tripod with a couple poles for a mast, and it'll work fine. You'll be setting it up temporarily. It takes first time you set it up, takes about 20 minutes, and then once you learn how to do it, it only takes about 10 minutes to put it back up again. So that's an option to get pretty good. I've used it for portable work. It works very good. I'm able to use it to connect to WinLink stations very, very well with it. And it goes from 80 meters all the way VHF. K0LEI, back to net.
All right, sounds good there, K0LAI. Yeah, great input there on the HVU8 by Comet 8-band antenna there. Pretty interesting without having to have the radials of a screwdriver. Very neat. Thank you. K1 DVC net control. As far as one of the other things you had mentioned there, Mike, KD5 LPE, it would be kind of interesting. I mean, we are throwing down a little bit of money on some of this equipment, so it'd be kind of interesting to be able to try before you buy on some of this and see, because it's definitely, your mileage may vary on a lot of things. So yeah, that would be kind of interesting to be able to go to a ham radio outlet and try to use something and potentially be able to get some money in return or something like that. But yeah, anyone else on that, or LPE, or anyone else on what we've spoken about so far, please call now.
LAI.
Yeah, K0LAI, go ahead.
K0LEI. Follow up on testing equipment. A good resource is go to eham.net, and a lot of people do reviews of equipment, and also there's reviews on QRZ. People review equipment, so that's a good way to look and see what other people have used. But remember that sometimes you get more negatives than you do positive, because people that aren't happy might go and say something, whereas people who are happy might not post anything. Anyway, K0LEI, back to net.
All right, thanks there, Larry. LPE, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll have to try to remember that Comet model number. I suppose the question that I would have on it is, I'm a blind ham, and I just wonder how much fiddling I'll have to do with it. Some of the antennas, portable antennas that I've looked at, you have to adjust a counterpoise for each length of the, for each band you want to go onto. And I'm not sure that I would be able to really do that. I thought about maybe leaving the radio on while I adjust it until it gets to the right, until I hear noise or whatever, but I don't think that would be a good idea. It's 85 LP.
Comment.
Okay, LPA, I have a little bit more on that, but yeah, Comment LAI, go ahead.
So you could go to Comet's website and look up, get the instructions for the antenna, setting it up. And basically what I do is I just, when I set it up, I set the radials and the radiator lengths to the middle of the band, and it tells where that should be. And you can use a ruler to set that correctly. And I just tighten it up there and leave it that way until I take it down. And then I use a tuner. If I'm going to be either lower in the band or higher in the band, I'll use a tuner to do a final tune. But usually the SWR is less than 3 to 1 once you've tuned it, once you set the radials and radiators to the middle of the band. So it's not a real big deal. And I've gotten really good performance out of it. I've used it on 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters. I used it for UHF and VHF, and it works very well. On some of the other bands that it's not exactly for, you can use a tuner usually to tune it into that band. So, but read the instructions. You can download them, and I always keep an extra copy around anyway. K0LEI, back to net.
All right, sounds good there, Larry. K0LAI, this is K1DBC. And again, that was the HV, that was a comment, HVU 8, Hotel Victor Uniform dash the number 8. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Real quick on one other thing that you had mentioned there. I know that we had a, I believe he's a member or he's checked in on the nets, Curtis Willoughby. He himself is a blind electrical engineer himself, and I think he's a ham radio operator with our club too. But you know, I can't even comprehend in a hobby of something that's mostly that's a lot of audio and a lot of hands-on. I'd imagine it's very, very difficult. I can't imagine. I don't know how excessive this hobby is, but he might. I'll have to find his call sign, but he is Curtis Willoughby. But I'll throw it back out to the net. If anyone else has any other comments or questions on anything we've spoken about so far, go ahead. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I had another comment here on the YouTube. They may have been the one of the doubles there. I don't know if you want to try checking back in again, Rye, or I think it may be Donald or however you go by KF0VHR. If you'd like to try, go ahead and check in one more time. Please do so. All right. Didn't hear too much in there, but I'll just go ahead and take any calls if you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. We have about 10-15 minutes left or so in the net. My name is Drone, call sign K1DBC for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor. If you wish to join the net just for the count or for if you have any traffic or questions, please call in with your call sign. State your name, and if you have traffic or questions for the net, please call now.
TRP comment?
Yeah, N0TRP. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, N0TRP. I believe Curtis's call sign is KA0VBA, Victor Bravo Alpha. He checks in pretty regularly on the RMRL net on Monday evenings. That'd be a good time to catch him. N0TRP back to net.
All right, thanks there, TRP. Absolutely. Yeah, his is one of the call signs I keep screwing up sometimes when I hear it, but it is, yeah, KA0VBA, Victor Bravo Alpha. So for LPE, Mike, or anyone else interested in kind of how somebody can operate in this hobby is legally blind or are blind, that might be a good resource to utilize. Curtis, KA0VBA, might have some pretty good insight on that. Thanks there, Troy. Jim, sorry, N0TRP.
W0TX repeater.
Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning. I don't see anyone else had any other comments or questions for the net. But we have a little bit of time left. If anybody has any comments or questions for the net this evening, let us know. Otherwise, I can pass a few bits of information.
S.t.e.m comment.
Yeah, K0, SUM, go ahead.
Well, just a crossed my mind. You mentioned the Nano VNA, which I also own, and I was curious what else people use them for other than SWR and the Smith chart. Figuring out the ohms that are working. I'm new to it and kind of playing with it. It's a pretty powerful little gadget. KE0SUM, back to net.
Great question there, K0HR, EHR. I don't know. You know, it comes from an expensive tool that really electrical engineers really use. So there are usages and use cases I don't know day in to day out, other than what it would be useful for, other than SWR and things like that. But I haven't done too much really work on the VNA itself. But if anybody has any other use cases or other usages for a vector network analyzer, what really can you use it for, other than kind of just your basic SWR and things like that? I'm sure there's a lot more in it. But anybody have any comments on that? Please call now. All right, just briefly looking at it here, it looks like kind of the things we know about. They're used for reflection parameters, such as SWR and VSWR, used for magnitude and phase, can measure both amplitude and phase. An amplitude-only measurement is simpler to make and can be undertaken by less complicated instruments. They may be sufficient. Having knowledge of phase and magnitude from vector network analyzer can circuit models be developed that will enable complete simulations to be undertaken. So there's a lot. So I mean, these are tools that are used by professional RF engineers for developing their products and testing and whatnot. So I'm sure there's a lot of capabilities out there, and we're really kind of just scratching the surface from a hobbyist level. But K0SUM, Jonathan, or anyone else on that, go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I know one of the most recent, we had our last meeting was by KG5GAK, Karen Rucker, and she talked about 3D printing antennas, and that it definitely comes in handy when you're kind of building something yourself. And she's a professional RF engineer, and has mentioned the VNA vector network analyzer in her usage as well. So. You know, I don't know, but it definitely has a lot of usages. And if you hadn't checked out that video, it is online as well from last week. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Jonathan, I wonder if you have any other follow-up on that. Go ahead.
Daron, no, I find it a powerful little tool. I have an electronics degree and like playing with the little objects that are way powerful. But this one's tiny, so I have to have my readers on. I'm 65, so I just find it interesting to see what the different traces do and what I'm supposed to understand from them. I only bought it for the SWR. SWR in certain bands, because I now understand. Somebody mentioned earlier an antenna for like $300 or something, which is totally acceptable. But I've gotten into this thing where I'm thinking, oh, well, string a piece of wire and see how it tunes. And that's where this comes in so handy. You can see what it tunes in at. Did a 33 piece of wire the other day, and then I did a 16-foot piece of wire, and just comparing notes. And that's part of the fun of the ham hobby. I like it. KU0SUM, back to net.
Yeah, absolutely. Experimentation is a huge part of this hobby. And as somebody with no engineering background, it's just there's so much of this is a little bit so over my head, but I really enjoy just kind of absorbing all of it as much as I can. There's a program, a PC program, I think it's on Mac and Linux too, called Nano VNA Saver, and it allows you to hook up through USB, and then you can see a lot bigger and make measurements and a lot easier just on your PC and whatnot. So that's another tool as well. If you go to looks like nanovna.com, they might have a link to the VNA Saver on there.
Well, I'll go ahead and give a quick comment. I'm not necessarily a slow learner. I'm a quick learner, but it takes time on certain subjects. And yeah, ham radio is one of those. Nothing I'd ever played with before, really. Always interested, but it can be as simple as throwing a piece of wire in the air. Not all that expensive, but no, I'm just having fun playing around. KE0SUM.
All right, KE0SUM. Yeah, great point. I mean, that random end-fed wire, that random wire, you could do quite a lot with just a random wire, you know, of any unknown length, and it's quite amazing how much you can really put out there and how much you can listen to with just so little. So, yeah, a lot of experimentation. So yeah, don't ever think you need to get into expensive equipment because you can do a lot of things yourself. You just gotta kind of investigate and learn. Absolutely. Okay, we are pretty much at the end of the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net this evening, but if anybody else has any other comments or questions, otherwise I'll pass a few bits of things and we might start to wrap things up here.
AA0JK?
Yeah, AA0JK. Fred, go ahead.
W.
Yeah. Speaking of antennas there, especially HF dipole antennas, the ARRL just came out with a new text on 20 innovative antenna projects. Got some pretty interesting articles here in this. So for those of you who like to experiment with antennas, might be a worthwhile item to add to your library.
All right, thanks there, Fred. Yeah, 20 innovative antenna projects. A new publication by ARRL, HF dipole antennas for amateur radio. Dipole antennas you can build. Gives you a pretty good list of easy to make antennas and portable, etc., etc. So this is a pretty good read. I'd imagine if you just kind of want to play around and kind of have a little bit of guidance, this kind of probably collates it all together and gives you some good idea of some DIY antennas you can put together. Great info there, Fred. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Pretty quickly, just to round things off here. We've briefly spoken about Starlink, not really too much, but it is the, I think the Elon Musk backed SpaceX project, and they're starting to roll out $99 a month plan plus $500 up front. You'll expect to see speeds varying from 50 megabits to 150 megabits, and latency with 20 milliseconds to 40 milliseconds. So this is all satellite-based satellite-based internet. If you have a need for internet and you have no remote connection via any current RF connections or cell or anything else, this is another interesting plan out there. So if you just Google Starlink, you'll find more info on that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'm just trying to find this other thing here. I'll have to come back to that here in a minute. Another project over on GitHub, Universal Ham Radio Remote HTML5 type web interface. So if you have a need for, it's very similar to the MFJ 1234, I think. You can hook up using a Raspberry Pi and cat control and audio from your radio, and you can basically get kind of a clean looking interface for remote web access to your equipment. I may need to find the link I was trying to find, but it was a high school project. Just a high schooler had done some pretty cool things. I wish I could find it now. Unfortunately, I cannot. But it's pretty crazy how much technology is available to us nowadays. And so it's we really need to try to encourage as much as we can our youth to get into electronics. I cannot find it, though. I'll need to find that. I don't have too much more else this evening. With that, I will throw it out to the net. Does anyone else have any last comments, questions, topics, anything else quickly for the last part of the net here? Please call now. Okay, with that, we will start to wrap things up here. My name is Daron, call sign K1DBC. Thank you all for checking in here this evening. We had quite a good turnout. Appreciate everyone on the YouTube, on the air. Again, we're over on youtube.com/WEREGR8, or if you search on YouTube for W0TX, you can find more info on the stream from this evening, as well as past nets and things like that. So I encourage you to check things out. If you ever want to do net control, you can kind of see what things look like, and more than happy to help you out in the future there. With that, we'll take final call. Any last call? Check-ins? Any late check-ins for the net? Please call now. Okay, well, again, thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Daron, call sign K1DBC. If you wish to contact the net with topic suggestions or to set a date to act as net control operator or guest Elmer, you may do so at any time via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. It is pretty casual. Don't ever hesitate to just drop in, and I'd be more than happy to help you out any given Wednesday. You can also check us out on groups.io/g/ham learning net for links to material on past net topics. This evening we had a total of 21 check-ins. Thank you all for checking in this evening. We'd like to thank everyone who participated. We especially appreciate and thank our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. We invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club at 7 p.m. This takes place online. If you go to W0TX.org, you can find more info on there. Our next meeting is November 18th. The links are not there yet, but it is a Google Meet Hangout. You don't have to be a ham radio operator to join on that. And again, that should be archived on YouTube as well. Please join us next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m., 1930 hours, for the next Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, again, thanks everyone for being here. Great net this evening. 7-3 to all. I am clear. Everyone take care. All right, thanks everyone for being on the YouTube here, and hope to hear you all and see you all next week. Don't hesitate to put any questions or comments in the chat, and yeah, see you all.